Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we'll be doing a catch-up video on the Gamemax Stealth. Is it any good? Spoiler alert, yeah, it's pretty good. But keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at our updated look at the Gamemax Stealth. We did a video a little while back, which is an unboxing, went through the specifications, features, and a bit of a teardown. You can check that out up here if you haven't done already. But in today's video, we'll be taking a look at actually what does it mean by having this mesh, well, semi-mesh front on. It looks to be, and I kind of hinted at the point that it might be a little bit choked due to the excess amount of plastic on this front panel. So what I've done is I've gone and done some tests. I've done a build in this, as you can see. So we're using the Intel 10600, not the K version, just the standard 10600. We've got a ASUS motherboard in there for its sins, and also we've got a GTX 1070. So we've got some parts in there which can generate a little bit of heat. Not an extreme amount, but certainly for a £30 case, I think this is a valid representation of what a lot of people will try to put inside this kind of case. So what we've tried to do here is to replicate some real world usage, and we've gone through some tests, and I've done the test with both the front on, as it is in the picture here, and also with the front removed, just to take that out of the equation to see how much of an impact it actually has on cooling performance. And the TLDR, if you don't want to stick with the rest of the video, it doesn't make very much difference at all. We're looking at a couple of degrees at the max. So if you just want to get a case and you're not too sure, then yeah, just hit the buy button in the description below. There'll be some links in there, so check it out. It's a great case for the money, it really is. But some of you actually want to see the graphs and charts, so let's head straight into that. So first of all, we did something which is a little bit synthetic. So we've gone with the Heaven benchmark, and we've run this with the front on and the front off. And we've got options here for CPU temperatures, GPU temperatures, and also the score as well, just to see actually if that does make a massive difference in terms of the scoring. So score-wise, with the front on, we had a score of 4,970. With the front off, bizarrely, we've got 4,827. Now I did do this a couple of times, run-to-run variances, and it did seem to actually replicate, and I don't quite know why this is. There doesn't appear to be any obvious reason, other than possibly there was something updating in the background, which finally finished, but certainly score-wise, I don't think that makes a great deal of difference. But in terms of temperatures, with the front on, we've got 49 degrees C, and with the front off, we've got 46 degrees C. So 3 degrees between actually having the front on and having a completely open setup, which I actually think makes a lot of sense. So taking a look at the GPU temperatures, which are going to make a lot more difference, we actually, with the front on, we've got 74.9 degrees C, and with the front off, we've got 74.6 degrees C. So a very, very tight margin there. Essentially, it made very little difference. Now, my belief is the fact that because we've got the extra fans in the top here, which are included in the kit, because we've got this really open section towards the back, anything which is being shut off from the front is actually being drawn in for the back. So if you're in a particularly dusty environment, you may find that slightly problematic, but certainly in terms of actually real world usage and actually being able to maintain temperatures with that front panel on, I don't see any problems here at all. So let's move on to Cinebench, which is going to be a more CPU intensive task. So Cinebench scores actually made a little bit more sense here. So with the front panel on, we had 8,918, and with the front panel removed, we've got 8,953. So a very slight increase, which would make a little bit of sense because it is running a little bit cooler. Temperature wise, when it looks at the Cinebench, we're looking at, with the front on, 60 degrees Celsius, and with the front removed, we're looking at 58 degrees Celsius. So again, only a 2 degree difference between the two, and that 2 degrees did actually work out with some very small but tangible difference in the scores, as we've seen. GPU temperatures pretty much identical across the two. We're looking at around about 44 degrees Celsius in both tasks. Obviously, this doesn't particularly rely very heavily on the GPU in this circumstance. So next up, we'll take a look at idle temperatures, which I think actually is relatively indicative of how a case will actually perform. So with the system completely idle, nothing running in the background, again, two tests, front on and front off. With the front on, we had a CPU temperature of 26 degrees Celsius as our lowest recorded temperature, and with the front off, 24 degrees C. Again, we're looking at that 2 degrees Celsius difference, which pretty much backs up the rest of the results we've been seeing. Moving on to the GPU again, very, very similar. Actually, with the front on, we only had 33.7 degrees Celsius, and with the front off, 33.1 degrees Celsius. So in an idle situation, having the front panel either on or off makes virtually no difference whatsoever and could be down to margin of error and the change in room temperature. So that's it for those sort of tests. Let's look at some gaming results. Now the first one we're going to go with is CSGO, which is going to be a more CPU intensive task, and then we're going to look at Wreckfest, which is going to be a more GPU intensive task. So with CSGO, the CPU temperature with the front on was 54 degrees C, and with the front off it was also 54 degrees C. So no differences there whatsoever, which actually surprised me that they both come in identically, but figures don't lie, that is exactly what it came in. Even though the CPU is under strain, I think a lot of that is taken care of by this 360mm AIO in the front, and is keeping temperatures well in check. But as the AIO is actually feeding fresh air from this front section, I think it actually goes a long way to say that this case isn't really choking the system at all. Where there was a very slight difference in CSGO, we've got 75.6 degrees C with the front panel on, and we've got 73.8 degrees C with the front panel off. So we're seeing a very small difference there, again with the GPU temperatures, again pretty much nothing in it, so front panel on, front panel off, it isn't making a great deal of difference in this title. So now let's take a look at something which is a little bit more GPU intensive. Now I did actually run this frame locks, just so that things didn't get out of control, and we've got a score with Wreckfest with the CPU with the front on, 51 degrees Celsius, and with the front off, 50 degrees Celsius. So again, we're replicating that same sort of thing where there's virtually nothing in it. Again, 1 degree could be down to the temperature in the room just fluctuating very slightly. Essentially, it's made no difference if the front panel was either on or whether it's off. GPU wise, again, almost identical results. So we got 66 degrees Celsius with the front panel on, and we've got 65.3 degrees with the front panel off. So again, 0.7 degrees difference. Essentially, it's not making any difference at all. So overall, the results, as you can see, essentially, all of my doubts completely unfounded. This case breathed exceptionally well. Now, I put a lot of that down to the fact that this particular chassis, the rear section, is designed in such a way that it's just designed to breathe. Everything is ventilated, meshed. There's lots of cutouts, so lots of areas for components to breathe and to pull in and also to remove air. The front panel itself, with the sections removed, now I did actually do a live build in this, so if you want to check that out, you can check that out up here. There were actually some additional filtration areas in the front, which I should have said at the beginning. I have removed all of those, so all we've got is this mesh in the front panel. The filter, which is actually behind this mesh, I removed because it's just mesh on mesh, which is absolutely pointless. And also there is included a magnetic filter, which I've also removed as well, and also the top filter is removed. So it's just basically breathing as I think most people would use it. In its default state, with those extra filters on, I think they're completely unnecessary and actually reduce the case's options in terms of using higher wattage parts. So there you go, there's the results. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments section below. I think for £30 as this case costs from CCL here in the UK, I'll put some links to that also in the video description, and obviously Gamemax's site and Amazon, etc. I think for £30 you just cannot go wrong. It is a really, really nice case. Exceptionally nice to build in as well. The layout is particularly good. The only downside I would say potentially is the built-in hub at the back for the fans and the addressable RGB, lacking PWM functionality. I've actually removed that by actually plugging the fans directly into the motherboard and also the addressable RGB, just to simplify things a little bit anyway. So that is something I have changed myself personally. The other very, very minute thing would be how close the power supply is to this bottom shroud section. Passing cables through after the fact, so if you have a motherboard installed and the power supply installed and you want to pass through those HD audio or fan connectors, that kind of thing, sometimes you do have to actually push the power supply down a little bit in order to get those cables through. But I think that is such a minor thing to take away from the fact that this case, I think, is actually probably my personal favourite now for doing kind of budget builds and actually even non-budget builds. As you can see, we've got a 360mm AIO in here, which fits very easily up front. We've got loads of airflow. It looks really nice. You get 3 included fans. In a lot of places, you're actually going to pay £30 or more just for 3 fans. So effectively, you're buying the fans and you're getting a case for free, which, yeah, is absolutely awesome. But anyway, let me know what you think about this one in the comments section below. Do you like this case? Does it do it for you? Are you likely to buy one? Or have you already bought one and done a build and you're as equally as impressed as me? Or did you find otherwise? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be really interested to hear. But in the meantime, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.